It takes a village to lift you higher. We teach the way, feed the fire. It takes a village.
Welcome to another episode of the Village Podcast where people help people. Today I'm honored to have my sister, my friend. Like, this is my big sister, y'all. And I love this lady, like, love her for real. Would y'all please help me welcome Dr. Lakeisha Cunningham to the show?
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah.
Giving all honor, praise to God
Yeah.
for being here.
Yeah. And look, Key, so, you know, we talk all the time. And one thing I'll say before I start asking questions and get into the conversation, I'm not sure if you know this, but like you and Doc gave me a picture of what's possible from a family perspective. And so when I'm thinking about who I invite, when I think about who I value, like, y'all may not know that by how y'all go through life, just being who y'all are, but like the example that y'all set, not from a, you know, because as friends, we don't expect each other to be perfect.
Right.
You know, we know
Right.
that there's going to be whatever that looks like, but the love, the grace, like how y'all took me and Kim in like 12 years ago sometime, like, man, that meant something to us. So I'm truly honored, like, for real, to call you my sister. Because, you know, I don't mind picking up that phone. Keith, look, I'm struggling with this
I
and I
know.
need your help.
We do
and,
that.
But
Yeah.
it's been good to have somebody I could do life with,
Yes.
that I could see an example of. So I appreciate you, baby. Appreciate you.
And the feeling's mutual because a lot of times younger people, and not trying to say that I'm old, but
Yeah.
I am middle-aged, but look to, they think that older people think that they're giving something to somebody else all the time, which you definitely are, because about being in a kingdom building is about relationships, of course. But a lot of times, sometimes they can get in the sense that younger people can't teach them anything. I think differently.
Yeah.
My mindset is different.
Come on, talk about that. Talk about that.
About that a lot. So I'm honored to be a part of your village, that you even think enough of us to want us to be involved in your life, your kids' life, and things of that nature. As I was stating, I think differently about young people. I do know that there's been a calling on my life, all my life, being engaged, involved with young people.
Right.
From all ages. Like when I was a little girl, I was over 100-member choir in my home church from age walking and up.
Yeah.
So I've been dealing with young people a long time, and I think that that's a gift that God has given me. I do relate to them in a sense of, I believe their voice is important. I believe that it is important to respect all age groups, but I have a knack for loving on them a little bit more, because sometimes I think younger people feel that they're not heard. And I think it's important for them to be heard.
Yeah.
And so being involved in our village, in our relationship, I appreciate that, in that you allow me to be a part of you all's life and your kids' life. And you know how our village is. We there. It's nothing to pick up the phone and say, hey, da-da-da-da-da. What you think about this, and so forth. So it means a lot to me as well.
Yeah.
To me and Steve, our family in general.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So look, I always get started with just this question, like, how are you doing? Because I know, you know, we'll get into what you do, but like, just how are you, like, in this phase of life? Like, you got 2 kids in college. Y'all are technically, I say, empty nesters, but they still in your pocket kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You still got to pay for stuff, so y'all ain't all the way out the weeds. But this dynamic of life is different, right? For you, for Steve, and your girls being gone. So how is Keisha doing?
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Navigating middle-aged women's issues and things of that nature. On the funny side, a menopausal woman.
Yeah.
Don't mind saying that. I'm very authentic. It is what it is.
Oh yeah, talk. That's what we do here.
It is what it is. Navigating that, the empty nesting is fine. I would hear people be like, oh, you're gonna, the kids, and you're gonna do this and do that. I mean, well, the thing about us, which may be a little bit different, we have lives outside of our children as well. We are community engaged in our church, involved and everything like that. So when you would see us during those times with our kids, that was compounded with what we do as individuals.
Anyway.
So it has not been, the adjustment is just, it may be a little bit more quiet at home, but not too quiet, because Steve and I, we like each other a lot.
Yeah.
We love each other. We're best friends.
Yeah.
So the communication is there. We go on dates. We hang out. I mean, we having fun.
Oh, fun. And so look, so you said something that I think all couples can learn from. Like, y'all had lives outside of your kids. Like, talk about that, because I think marriages struggle after kids because they based everything around their kids. And so once the kids leave, what else do we have?
Right.
So what have y'all always thought that way? Have y'all always looked at it from that angle? Like, hey, I know we got kids, and it ain't that we don't take care of our kids, because Kaylin and Jaden, they well taken care of, but y'all got a life outside of them, which makes empty nesting not that bad.
One of the key things that we went into our marriage was a thing that we committed to was always making time for each other. So the thing would be at least once a year, if we could do it more, we would go away together, just us, no kids. I can remember after Jaden was born, I think she was 6 months old, and we left her with my mom and we went to Jamaica. Now, was it difficult? A little bit, especially being a new mom, new parents and stuff like that, but not so bad that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't enjoy my trip. Nothing at all, because first of all, that means you need to have a good village. That means that you have some people that you really trust with your children, that like they will treat them as their own. And our parents are heavily involved, their grandparents, with their lives. And so my mom kept Jaden. She was fine. We talked every day to make sure, and Steve and I enjoyed ourselves, and we do that. We do that every year. Now sometimes like this past year, they bum rushed our anniversary, but that's okay. We invited them to do that.
Right.
So we'll do that sometimes. But that was one of the commitments that we wanted to instill in our marriage life as well. Always being intentional about making time for each other, and not. I mean, I believe that marriage should be selfless. Is that hard? Yes. In some cases, for some people, it depends on the personality. Steve and I have giving type personalities, so it's not as complicated.
Yeah.
We don't look at it like that. We don't look at, I honestly do not look at marriage as a job.
Right.
I think I've even told you before, don't look at it as a job, because sometimes, even though it may have some of the emotional ups and downs, a job will do for you, but if you look at it too much like a job from the negative standpoint, when it gets hard and taxing, sometimes you can quit a job, right? But we don't want to do that, because our commitment to marriage is we're in there. We're in there for holy matrimony. We're in there, so it's a gift. It's better than a job. It's something God gifted us with, and you want to honor that and first of all, you gotta like each other. You love each other. You gotta want to be around each other. And that truly matters. Having a genuine friendship.
Yeah.
And he's my best friend, and I'm his best friend. And that helps tremendously when it comes to navigating and not letting. So we always tell the kids, we was on the team first before y'all.
Y'all will never come in between this.
We was down first. So whatever you tried to do, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
And look, so Keish, this is good, because whenever I've been married 13 years. April will be 13 years, and I know that I've called you, I've talked to Steve about stuff, and I mentioned this whenever we first started. Like, your perspective and the example that y'all set, helped reshape how I saw it. Like, now I'm just thankful that I got a wife. Right now, I'm thankful that, man, I could do life with somebody. And I know there's ups and downs. But who else would you rather do it with? Like, God has given you somebody to be able to do that. I'm saying you don't even know that that's what y'all were doing for a young kid, young dude, married, don't know what that looks like, trying to navigate that space. And I'm like, man, I know some people that's getting it right, that they don't feel like it's draining to be married. Like they love their wife, they love their husband, and they enjoy one another. Like, so that's where we are in this space. Like, man, look, I'm glad. I mean, you got somebody that you could be with, that you could do life with. This is a gift.
Yeah,
this is an honor to be having somebody like that. So I just appreciate that perspective. Now I do want to shift gears, because you're not just a wife, you're not just a mother,
Right.
you're a professor too.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, I got some professor friends now. Like I got some real people that really, really know what they doing. So talk to me a little bit about that space in your life with navigating all that, like being a professor.
From that perspective, I think God has given me that platform again to be impactful in the lives of young people.
Mm-hmm.
I really love it. I always joke with them. I said, I'm not here teaching at Gary for pay. I don't feel like it's for pay. It's because I really love what I do. And I want to see you become very successful professionals. I am an assistant professor of Department of Biological Sciences at William Carey.
Here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Here in Hattiesburg,
Yeah,
Mississippi.
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I am a microbiologist, which a lot of people don't know that about me, and that's okay too. I am a scientist.
Yeah.
I have my doctorate in microbiology, molecular genetics. So I do like science.
Y'all heard what she said? Y'all heard what she said. Now I can't repeat it, but I'm just saying I got some people in my life that like really, really be doing stuff. But go ahead, keep going.
I'm a graduate of the Jackson State
I knew that was
University.
coming.
We are always the
Yeah.
Jackson State University, a Bachelor of Science, and then I moved on to full scholarship ride to Michigan State University, where I obtained my doctorate in microbiology and molecular genetics. So I do like science a lot. I am a STEM nerd, but I'm a cool one.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy preparing our future professionals, for their career goals. Predominantly, I teach the pre-nursing, pre-med, pre-PT, OT, all of those pre-science professionals. I help them navigate through their undergrad years and to get into professional school. I love it. I enjoy helping students to like science. A lot of times you'll hear when I say what I do, people are like, oh, you must be really smart at this, that, and the other. I have a passion. That's the passion that God gave me to like science that way. And sometimes people don't like those science majors or what they consider to be those really hard majors because they have not had someone in their lives or along their academic path to present it to them in a different way that will help them. You may not like it or you may not love it, but I can help teach you to like it a little bit and have a respect for it so that you think differently. I always joke with my students and I tell them, by the time you leave microbiology, my course, you ain't gonna want to eat at another buffet. You're not gonna want to touch another water fountain, but it's enlightening and they get curious.
Right.
So I try to make it relatable. And I think that helps a lot. They may say, which I do hear all the time, Dr. Cunningham, you're hard. I said, but I need to be challenging because I always say this. When you leave my class and you go on to medical school, PT school, OT school, nursing or whatever, and if something happens one day, I'm in an emergency situation, I can open one eye and I see it's you and I know you made a C and above, we good. But if I know you made below a C, don't touch me. Because I already know the man. I know God. I don't need your help.
Yeah, you good on that. Don't even come in here playing with me.
I don't need your help getting me to heaven because I know where I'm going.
Yeah, you're right.
And they always laugh about that. But I'm very serious about them learning what they need to know to be. Because I said, you're not going to kill anybody. Not on my watch. It won't be because you didn't learn something in this classroom. So, yes, I am challenging. But we have fun. We have fun. Just like I'm having this conversation with you, my lectures are conversations.
Yeah.
Not necessarily me just being monotone, yapping out some facts to you. I want it to be relatable. I want you to know what's going on, and I want you to know how microorganisms are everywhere, and they're not all bad. So you need to learn the good, the benefits, and then you need to know the adverse effects of microorganisms as well.
But I think too the biggest thing what I see like which ties into how we do life together is you said something about like these kids with science. If you're never exposed to it, then you don't know, right? So I'm saying like you're giving kids a picture of what's possible.
Yes.
Right? Because who would have, like, I knew that you were in microbiology, but the average black woman teaching, being a professor in microbiology, I'm saying you may hear of it, but it's like I got somebody that I know that, hey, if Makai wants to do science, Kimberly, Alana wants to do science, we got somebody that can say, hey, let me show you what this is like. And I think that's the big part of kids being exposed to more than just the norm.
Yeah.
Because some of our kids don't know what they like.
Right.
Don't know what they are good at.
Right.
They're just limited because they hadn't been exposed to anything. So what got you intrigued about science like this?
So the way my brain works, I feel like when things are challenging, I like to conquer. Mm-hmm. I'm different. Like, well, some people will run from things that are challenging. I'm kind of gonna run to it. Because it's like I guess my chemotaxis of way of thinking, and that means like you go into the chemical stimulant. Mine is towards that thing because I need to see. I want to challenge myself to see if I can do it.
Yeah.
So, but I like science. Now I started to like history a little bit later on in life when it started to make more sense to me. You know, but science was just attractive to me as far as how the body works, what's going on in the world scientifically, how does it relate, how do all of these systems and networks work together.
Right.
And so my initial going into research, I was like, wow, because I think it was my junior year at Jackson State, and I had a microbiology teacher, and he was teaching us something. It's called the Krebs cycle. I won't get into that.
Yeah,
Come see me at Cary. But it's really difficult. And I was like, I'm going to get this. And the way he made us learn it, you learned all of it, all of the biochemistry associated with it, and we came in on test day. He gave us a blank sheet of paper. He said, write it down. And so I was like determined, things like that, challenges like that, I want to go for it. I gotta do a faith walk and I gotta try it.
Yeah.
Comparative anatomy. I had some outstanding teachers. Let me say that. Outstanding teachers. My mom is a teacher, a retired teacher. She taught over 30 years. So that's been a part of my environment, and my uncles, some I've taught. My dad even taught for a hot minute. He taught history though for a second. He's predominantly a coach, but so that's been a part of my life. I always wanted to teach to help those to get in, professional to migrate, matriculate through their academic goals of getting to professional levels. So that's always been fascinating to me. But that science aspect of it is the challenge. It's intriguing. Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of information. Yes, it's hard. But when the Lord can help me to do it, I'll never forget, and I don't mind sharing this story.
Come on.
The first year, biochemistry 801, Michigan State University, all of us, like upper level pre-professionals, whatever, were in this class. And history showed that most of the time that the black students would have to drop out of that class, go back down and take an undergrad biochemistry because they weren't doing well. I'll never forget my first exam. And this is me carrying over my work study ethics from undergrad. I did well in undergrad. So I'm thinking, and this is another thing that will help students. You do have to change. At every level, there's change. You have to be willing to grow and be able to accept help and be able to shift some gears a little bit in order to reach the goals that God has set for you. And that's a part of that process. So I took that first exam and I literally stood there and cried because I went blank. Not because I had not studied. I studied my butt off, but I studied the way I knew how to study that got me through that level of undergrad. And I ended up turning the test in. I did horrible. I actually kept that exam. I did horrible. And got to the next test. Tried to change my study habits some. Got to the next test. Took it again. Went up some, but still bad. And I'm like, okay, God, what is happening? I'm crying. I'm freaking out because I make A's.
Yeah.
I don't do no bad grades.
Yeah.
That ain't happening. And so I really went into my prayer closet. And I thank God for having a spiritual life and a relationship with God.
Yeah.
I cannot leave that out because everything I have, I owe it all to God. I don't get into titles. I don't get, like I said, half people don't even know that I'm a scientist. I do what I do, but that's okay. And that's cool because it's not mine anyway to stake claim to.
Come on.
So in that moment, in that story, the professor called us in after that second test and he was like, hey, some of y'all that's not doing too well, you might want to reconsider. You might want to step back and go do the undergrad and then come back because at my school, you could not make a C. B's and up, grad level. And I know that sounds crazy. You know, most people are like, oh, you make a C. No, B's and up. And I said flat foot right there. And I said, I'm not doing that. I didn't tell him this. This is me in my mind, me talking. I said, he doesn't know the God I serve. I'm going to do this. Because, and I think that's where my grind comes from. Just trusting, having a relationship with God and knowing that God can see me through. I got to test it. I got to try it.
Yeah, you're right.
I got to see that. I got to, because God told he said he would never leave me nor forsake me.
Come on.
And I was like, I got to stay in this. I got to win. I'm competitive. I got to win. I said, so I didn't give up and I prayed my way through and I asked God to show me how to do this because I had no clue because I did not have to, biochemistry was not a requirement at that time for us to graduate. So I had all these other heavy courses. So I didn't take it because I didn't know that was going to be my next level course. So I'm coming in, fresh eyes on something like that. But thank God I like science enough. But I said, I'm hanging it. And hey, guess who passed that class?
Come on.
Did. And when I got that grade at the end, I could just see God working and me just changing and growing even in the process. I'm not saying it's easy because it's not, right? And you got to just ride with God, ride in that process. So he put that attraction for science in me through various teachers that really influenced me to be, I wanted to do that. That's challenging, that's cool. Like, that is some cool stuff. I want to see how that works. I want to, and they made it interesting and they made it fun. And I wanted to be able to learn that information and one day be able to help somebody else because we also had the opportunity to be graduate assistants and to help students along the way. And I enjoyed doing that. So that's kind of how I migrated into the teaching aspect of it from research.
So here's what's interesting, like just hearing the story. When I think about that journey, you talk about faith, and I know we're gonna get to this. So now we're here. But how big of a part would you encourage that to be students' lives? Like you didn't find God there, you knew him before you went. So we're living in an era, we're living in a time where people are driven by social media, people are driven by opinions. So they find their validation and their worth in stuff that's not really sustainable. And I hear, like, for one, didn't share this at beginning, but we're all Christians.
Right.
We all love Jesus. Like, I ain't just saying, like, Jesus, this guy that's this fake stuff. We talking about we really love the Lord and we serve the Lord and our source is the Lord, right? And
Period.
so, but students would need to know that although it may not look attractive, like that's the way, right? That's the only way you're going to make it in this life and be successful and have your right mind. So how important is it for students when they're going to attack these challenges? Because you just said it wasn't easy, right? Life, school, being a graduate student coming from Jackson State, going all the way to Michigan, like all of this stuff. How important is it for students to have that connection with God?
It is, man, I cannot express how important it is, in my opinion, that you have a spiritual connection with your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. you know, there are many different beliefs out there, but I stand on the
Flat
cross.
foot on it.
10
Own
toes
it.
down.
Own it.
10 fingers, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
Jesus has to. One thing I told my girls as they were, you know, coming up in the households that you have to, before you leave this house, before you leave the house, you have to know, or you have to be willing to learn and understand that God is your source. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a process in this learning. You're not just going, just get it.
Right.
God's going to allow you to go through some experiences, some things for you to understand and see who he is. But you got to be willing to see it. And then you can't just know Jesus through us. You have to know him for yourself. And I would always tell them this: when you walk out this house, you're representing not only yourself, you're representing God, your family, and yourself. So everything you do, everything you say, everything about you, does not only affect you, it affects this household and what we try to represent in the kingdom.
That's it.
It's not for show.
Oh, look,
I
you ain't gotta tell me, because I know, like I'm saying, y'all are the first doctors that I'm saying, I know many people, but I'm saying that don't walk around and brag as if this is something flat. Like, y'all are just good, like solid folks to us. So I get it.
I don't care about nothing about what nobody thinks. My concern is about what God thinks, and that my kids know God. We are not perfect. We are human beings. I go wash my hands just like you go wash your hands. Now, I may wash them a little bit more because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
But I eat just like you eat. We just God's
Human.
people.
Yeah.
But it is critical, especially, and I also believe that communication, as I stated, I believe that young people have a voice. We need to hear them. We need to hear their concerns. Because God cares about our concerns, no matter how big, no matter how small. And we need to hear that little person just like we need to hear the big people.
That's it.
Because they have something to say. And it may not always make sense. We may not always agree.
Right.
But I think it's still worth listening to. And I think we need to not be shy and back down on communicating with our children and with people, because, especially our young people, because they need to understand what God has done for you. They need to understand that I didn't do this by myself. God put people in my lives that helped me along the way. I had when Steve and I got married, and we didn't have Jaden until 3 years later after we got married, but I was like at the end point of my graduate studies. But I had people there, my village back in Michigan, that like they would keep Jaden while I would be in the lab. When I say all night long, I would like leave my baby with people that God allowed me to have a church family there. And they're like I adopted them as my God family, you know, there, because they helped me.
Right.
And I feel like that had a lot to do, again, with my foundation, spiritual foundation. That was the people from the church. The Lord directed me to a church. That was another thing that was big when I went off, you know, Lord, I got to find a church. I got to be in there so I can get fed. And with that, he allowed me to build another family.
Yeah.
So it is imperative that you have a spiritual life. I believe that, because that way it keeps you grounded. It keeps you humble. It keeps you steady, even when you are in a rocky position.
Yeah.
It keeps you level headed, and you have to acknowledge the fact that you would have nothing without God. Nothing, absolutely nothing, because it's so many things going on in the world, and I think kids need to know that. You need to talk about it, not just, yes, it is very important that you live it, because living it speaks volumes. Because now I'm not saying you talk, but then you do something different, because kids are watching. And please don't make the mistake of thinking that, oh, they just kids. They don't get it.
They see.
That is false.
They see.
They see and they hear. They see the things that you think they don't see, and they hear the things you think they don't hear. They do. And so we have to be careful. We have to be careful and really, really teach them about how important it is to have a relationship with God in order to make it on this journey.
Yeah, because I mean, at this stage in life, you know, I'm 40, and so a lot of stuff don't really matter anymore. And I know I do a good bit of work down at PRCC with FCA in Poplarville, Mississippi, and my encouragement or my charge to them is like, man, you need to get to know God for yourself. Because I don't just think it, I know it makes it impossible to keep moving on from one thing to the next. If you don't have something, you don't have a foundation, you don't have something that's sustaining you. Like God sustains my family. God is the source of my provision. Like I'm able to provide for my wife and my kids. And I think sometimes what people get caught up in is like what they see in Hollywood, what they see on TV, and these people don't reverence God and they don't live for God, and they think that that's like really, really real. And like I'm here to tell them, like, man, that stuff is a lie. Like you need Jesus for real.
Gotta have him.
I'm talking about to sustain your family.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know why. Like whenever I talk about marriage, like I don't even know why people will get married and don't know God. To me, it makes no sense. Because what's going to challenge you to be selfless outside of you? What makes you consider somebody else without the conviction of the Holy Spirit saying, hey, this ain't just about you. This ain't just your way. Hey, you were wrong. You need to apologize. Hey, you need to stop saying that. You need to, like, there has to be something in me bigger than me that challenges me to be different.
Absolutely.
And so whenever kids are navigating life and going to school, like you're going to get exposed to so much stuff. But man, you got to be concrete sure on what you believe.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate that I do work at a Christian institution. I love that because I can pray for my students, and I do. That is something that on day one, I tell them, I said, hey, we are at a Christian school. I can do this. I'm letting you know ahead of time that I will be praying for you before we take our exams. And if it offends anyone, just come talk to me. We'll talk about it. And because I don't want to be offensive to anyone, but I'm letting you know up front that I do pray over my students. Even if it's online test, before they start the test, there's a prayer printed just before the test because I don't play about prayer.
Yeah.
I know God hears me.
Sure, you're right.
God, my dude, my homie.
Come on.
I know God hears me.
Yeah, you're right.
And I hear him.
Yeah.
I know this because that's just, I don't play about prayer.
And and people always use the phrase or they use the comment that, you know, they took God out of school. But see, the thing about it, you can't take him out of me. Like you can't, I'm saying before we leave the house, we praying. Yeah. And here's something, you know, I know people that know you, but there are people that'll be exposed to you on this front that probably be introducing to for the first time. But like you were in a wreck once before. In our crew chat, find a way to talk about it all the time. Like it's just a reminder of how good God is.
Yes.
Like I'm saying, now I'm shifting gears and talking about the village because I got a strong village. We are part of a village that we got people, if you call, they coming. So this ain't just a show. No. This ain't just something that we say. Like if I need Keisha to go get Makai or she need me to go look out for Kaylin, like that's what we do.
Yeah, like for real.
And so that day, like this is why I'm saying the connection is so strong, because that day whenever I saw that vehicle flipped over, like I'm calling Doc on the phone, he hit me, hey man, Keisha done got in a wreck. And you know I live right there, so I rushed to it. And I'm thinking the worst. And I see you and Kaylin outside of that vehicle. Like this is an Infinity truck upside down.
Yep.
In the middle of the highway.
Yep.
And I'm saying, God spared your life. So can't nobody make me believe that God ain't real. Because that we could be having a totally different, our outlook on life could be different. But the fact that you're still here is evidence that we know the same Jesus.
Absolutely. And that's who I called when in the process of that accident happening, because I had the right of way, and I want to say it was a Ram. No, it was a F-150, a big, one of the big ones. And they tried to beat the light, and they T-boned me. And it was like in slow motion in my mind, I was like, they're going to hit us. But I could not, I couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing I could do. And like, she literally hit us. We flipped 3 times. And that was the 80?
Yeah,
the
QX80.
Infiniti QX80.
I'll never
That's
forget
a big truck. We flipped 3 times in the air. The whole time, I said, Caitlin, she's going to hit us. And I just said, Jesus. I called Jesus' name. I said, Jesus. I said, I'm not going to die. Jesus, I am not. I just kept calling his name over and over and over again. And when we landed, when we stopped, I just opened my eyes. I mean, glass everywhere. And I mean, like, you can't. That's what I said. I don't. See, people think prayer has to be all
come on.
eloquent, all long and drawn out. Calling his name
Is enough.
is enough. That's prayer. Because the Holy Spirit is going to take whatever I'm trying to say, even if I can't get it out. And he's going to lift it up to the ears of Christ to hear what I got, what my concerns, my needs. Because sometimes we can't even say words.
Don't even know what to say. And Keith, so I mean, like that's a good point, because when people see when people see people that follow Jesus, I think on the outside, some people have this perception that we're just like super spiritual. Like we're just so super holy, and like we talk to God like we talking now.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always want young folks to have an understanding, like it has to be faith before anything else. And when I first got into ministry and feel the call on my life, I thought God was going to try to change me, and I had to wear 3-piece suits everywhere I went. So told you this story before. I'm sure you've heard it, me speaking somewhere. I go in Popeyes one day, and the young lady, we working at student ministry at West Point. She see me and she said, there go Mr. Kendale. He one of the ministers at the church. And the young lady says, he don't look like a preacher.
Right.
And I went to her and said, thank you, because I had on a hoodie, I had on jogging pants, and I had on a ball cap. And when I said thank you, she said, thank you, that don't offend you? I said, no, because I don't know how one look. I just know how one lives.
Absolutely.
And so we have to be able to connect with people where they are, so that they know that this same God that I talk about, that you may see me shout about because I done had some dealings with him longer than you, like that's the same God that will love you, that will protect you, that will value you, that will pick you up, that will make sure you know who you are and have a purpose in this life.
Absolutely.
And so kids, I'm saying that's my heart's desire, to see these young folks just get connected with Jesus. I'm saying if you get that, I'm not saying your life is going to be easy. What I'm saying is you'll have direction.
And foundation.
And a foundation.
Absolutely. Spiritual foundation. And they can see it. It's important that they see it. Yes, we can talk to them about it and engage and have conversation, but they also have to see it lived out. So it means that we also have to be cautious. Like, you know how sometimes growing up back in the day, they say, look, what is it? Don't do as I say, not as what I do. No, we got to live it. We got to walk this thing out. They got to see what living and walking out that faith is. And making it
practical, man. They have to
not complicated.
Keisha, I'm gonna tell you, I was leaving baseball practice, and it's a Thursday night, and the work that I get a chance to do with FCA has changed my life, because I go back to the same place that I was a young fool at and get a chance to minister to kids. And so every time I go, it's surreal. And I never know, the Bible says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So I never know what it's doing or why I'm doing certain things. I just know I feel called to this. So I go. And I hear Makai on the phone talking to his mama. He said, Mama, we got to go to school. I need to be a car rider in the morning because I need to make sure I get to FCA.
Yeah. Absolutely. So he's watching. He sees. He sees what mom and dad are doing. And it is definitely transferring over. He sees it. So it's normal. It becomes normal. It becomes a normal part of his life to see this is the spiritual walk that my daddy is doing before me.
And I didn't, because I can't do everything for my kids.
Absolutely.
However, if I can help them see Jesus, I believe I did enough.
Right.
And to hear him say that,
Yeah, on his own.
was confirmation like, man, Kendale, it ain't about perfection.
No.
It ain't about what you think you don't have and what you think you lack. But man, for your 11-year-old son to say, Mama, I need to make sure I'm in the car line so I can get there to be at
Yes.
FCA,
Absolutely.
I know that this is not in vain.
Mm-hmm.
So look, Keisha, I got one more question for you before we wrap up because, we could talk for an hour.
Yeah.
We could talk for a long time.
Right.
Well, how important is it to have a strong village? How important, because we hear Pastor Kathy say it all the time, there ain't no such thing as a lone Christian.
Right.
So how important is it for you to have people in your life that help you, that hold you accountable, that push you to be better, that's there for you when life throws its curveball? How important is it to have a strong village?
That's a part of our calling too, as Christians, to be able to assemble ourselves with like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
And having those like-minded people with you, that doesn't just apply to you in your career life. That's in your life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a village, having like-minded people on a spiritual level, on that mental level and things of that nature, to be there, that I trust with my family. I trust that, like, for real, like you are there for me and I'm there for you. It's a mutual thing. Not that I'm trying to get something from you. It's not like that. It's mutual.
Right.
And that we can work together. We can pray together. We have just gotten together just to pray.
Man, listen.
Like, we've done that before. Like, we'll FaceTime or we'll meet up just to pray.
Mm-hmm.
And that is more. I can't even right now put words to how important that is to me. And if you think that you can be a Christian alone, you are sadly mistaken. Because we need each other.
Mm-hmm.
God designed us to need each other.
Mm-hmm.
We should be there to build each other up. And as you said, hold each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You should want to live a life that's pleasing to God, which will be attractive to other people, for them to want to know Jesus. Because you may be the only Jesus that somebody see. So if you, and it is important that you surround yourself with people like that, because you don't, who you are with, who you surround yourself with, that's also a reflection of who you are.
Yep.
So if you are, you say you're a Christian or you live in a certain way, but you hanging with people that do things in the opposite manner, that's contradicting.
Mm-hmm.
That's contradicting. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody's perfect.
Yep.
This conversation, this whole thing, we're not sitting up here like, oh, we know it all. That's not the case. I can only talk to you about things that I've experienced, and whatever you ask me that's related to how, God has, prepared me through life or going through life, in this lifetime, on this journey. So it is very important that you are connected with God-fearing, like-minded people that you can trust, that you can be genuine with, that you don't feel no judgment, that they love you, you love them. Like you really can go to them and say, hey, if I'm going out of town, Kendale, can you go take the trash can back down to the house, or can you get the mail real quick because I forgot to stop it. I mean, but I trust you with that. I need you to go inside my house to do so and so and so and so because I forgot to do this. I mean, it's just, that is important. And then not just for the physical aspects of it, but again, spiritual. When I can call you, or even if I don't have to, you don't even have to call me. If you just send me an emoji with praying hands, you ain't got to have no explanation behind that.
Just pray.
Just pray. You have no idea how many times that happens to me. And I'm okay with that. Like students, my line sisters, just we all, a group, like my village, we will just send praying hands. You don't have to tell me what you're going through, because if that's your business, and if you want it to be my business, then the details, you'll tell me if God directs you. If not, that's okay too. That's okay too. But I love the fact that having a strong village, a spiritual village, that and just a village to do life with in general, it makes a difference in my life, my family's life. I know that my kids they may have something they want to talk about. They're gonna go. I'll say go ask Uncle Kendale. Yep. Go ask Auntie Portia. Go ask Tita. You know, I can say that and not worry about what the information is going to be. If it's going to be outside of what God wants them to say or do, I don't worry about that. Go see Uncle Sal. Go ask him. So I don't, and we'll tell you, please don't ask me that. Go ask, know, or like, because I don't know. Yeah. So that's important, that the trust is there, and I know who God's placed in my life, and I have, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very, very. Steve and I are so grateful for that.
And it's always mutual, Keish, because the impact that we have on each other's lives and our circle that we have, like, it helps us all be better.
Absolutely.
Like, and I don't just represent God and my family. Like, I represent the people I'm connected to.
That's right.
And so that's why I always challenge people, like, man, you need to make sure you got the right people in your life, that whenever you at your lowest, they gonna love you. Whenever you done fail and you struggling, they gonna see you how God see you. Right. Like, that's the purpose. That's what I believe God has called us to from a community perspective. And I'll say it again. I tell you this, man, I'm glad that I got you as a big sister in my village.
And I'm glad we got y'all. Absolutely.
Like, for real. So, hey, look, Keisha, I appreciate you again. And you know, I say it, but we gonna do it again, because there's so much more that I think that you have to offer, that you can share with listeners. Like, you're not just a wife, you're not just a mom, you're not just a professor, like community activist, like leader. Like, you have all these things that's working in your favor, that God is doing to use you in a great capacity to help other people. And I just think people need to hear it. I just think that you have so much to share. So we're going to do this again.
Cool.
We're going to do this again.
Awesome.
So I appreciate you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, so look, that wraps up another episode of the Village Podcast, where people help people. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
It takes a village to